Welcome to Team Talk. I'm Craig Zimmerman. We got some baseball guys here. So we'll talk about who they are, where they play, what they do, what sports they play. And Coach Nick Black, welcome.
Thanks for having us back. Appreciate it.
You brought the JV guy with you.
Sure did.
He's sitting on a taller chair.
Sure
that's
did.
why he's so much taller.
That's
Mike
why, yeah,
Bebach.
that's
Then we got Jack Schaefer. Am I right? Yeah, Jack
right.
Schaefer, Gabe Sipolik, and Braden Schulk. Welcome, everybody. So we're coming off a baseball season in which the Saints played in the MAC White.
Sir.
Let's talk about that so that when Grandma and Grandpa that maybe don't know the scenario of sports, there is red, white, blue, gold, silver, bronze.
Yep.
Red, white, blue is pretty easy, right?
Yep.
Okay, figure that one out. So it's the biggest teams, the biggest schools are red, then white, then blue. St. Clair's had a storied program for a number of years, so when you took over 5 years ago, you were probably, and I'll use the term, saddled that you're in the white.
Mm-hmm.
Were you in the blue at all?
No, actually, that the first year that we were coming in, they were lobbying. They were coming down from the red.
Okay, that's
so again, a school with 700 at the time, 700-ish
Yeah.
kids was going against the Dakotas, the Ikes, the Stevensons with 2,500 north, even
Right.
more than 2,500 kids because, like you said, the history of the program.
Yeah. So then the other thing about that's interesting is that you've got a high school with, say, what is the population right now?
With us, about 750.
So 750 playing against teams that have 1,200, 1,500, and even, like you said, into the 2,000s.
North of 2,000, yeah.
Sometimes tough to compete just because, we talked about it earlier before we started that for every 100 students in a school, we know there are X amount of athletes, and I don't know that number specifically,
Yeah.
but if you've got 700 or you've got 1,400, technically the 1,400 student school is going to have more
Mm-hmm.
athletes. And so you played in a very competitive division.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you finish up this year?
So I believe we finished tied for third in the league. We finished 13 and 15 overall, and it's a credit to these guys over here because they do everything they can to hold their own. A couple games could have gone either way. We could have finished even higher in the league. But again, we're going against the MAC Red, MAC White. Those are some of the best leagues in the state of Michigan. And of our 15 losses, I think 10 of them were to top 15 to 20 ranked teams in the state, not the division, not the area, the state.
There's no days off, really.
No, absolutely not. You have to come ready to play. And the way that our league is structured is we're playing 3-game sets. So these
Right.
guys got to gear up and come ready to play every single day. It's a mental toll, it's a physical toll, it's an emotional toll. And I know we're exhausted after the games as a staff, and we don't even play. So I can
Right,
imagine how these guys feel. So they certainly hold their own. And then I want to give a lot of credit to Big Mike and our JV squad. They actually won the league this year, and that is the first time going back that we can even find that we
I got to stop you there and just ask, did Mike ask for a trophy?
He did. We got him a big one. He did. But these guys, they went 11-4 in league. And again, historically, our JV team is filled with freshmen because we don't have enough kids to field a freshman team. And they're playing against teams that have mostly juniors on the JV team. And these guys held their own, and not only held their own, they won the league.
Dominated.
Yeah, they played very, very well. So it was actually our best program year that we've had since our first year, and very excited. And the postseason accolades for these guys have shown that, and we're very excited about the future. So it was a challenging year, and I don't know that these guys would want to have it any other way.
So did Coach Mike sort of put something over in front? I need another contract.
Yeah, he did. He's leveraging. He did get dinner the other night, though. I had him over for dinner. So that.
Okay.
That was part of the contract.
Let's talk baseball with these guys here. Jack, you're going in to be a senior.
I will, yep.
Okay. Tell us about your junior year. Tell us about the positions and everything.
So position-wise, I played almost every position besides pitcher and catcher. I think it was a really successful year. I was pretty consistent with both defense and offense. Overall, I think it was a really good year.
Okay.
Yep.
And you play what other sport?
Just baseball.
Baseball?
Yep.
Okay, so you're in there 12 months a year. Where do you guys go for batting practice all the time?
Most of the time, it's the St. Clair Little League.
Okay.
Yep. We'll just go over there and get our swings.
Okay. Gabe, how about you? You're going to be a junior.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your sophomore year.
It was great. Overall, it was really fun. The teams we got to play, everything was competitive. We had no days off. It was baseball, baseball, baseball.
Okay.
That's how I like it.
And what position?
I'm just a catcher.
Just a catcher.
Only one.
I played catcher in my youth leagues. My daughter played catcher, and even one of my grandsons is now playing catcher. I always like catcher because you're so involved in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's never a moment where you're worried about what's going on. You're in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's like the quarterback of
Yep.
baseball.
So are you calling pitches?
This year, yes, I got to call my pitches.
Are you looking over in the dugout first or what?
I don't have to worry about Big Mike,
Okay.
so I'm all good. But yeah, this year I get to call my pitches.
So let's talk about that strategy. I mean, when you're there, do you know enough about the batters coming up and what they've characteristically done?
So something we did at the start of the year with the 3-game sets. The first game we would have charts on what they struggle with and what they succeeded on, and that's how we kind of rolled into the next 2 games, knowing is what we can use to our advantage.
So then you got a statistician keeping track of all that?
So we actually had a 2-catcher system, and the statistician was the guy that wasn't catching that day.
Okay.
So he could formulate his plan, literally sitting right next to us, like he just said, keeping what the hitters had success on or did
Is
not
he
have
keeping
success
notes
on.
and actually saying, okay, first pitch was a curveball and he was
What game
way
talking
behind?
about?
Yeah, so anything that they do, like fouling a fastball, high, pitch by pitch, I have written down on the sheet. And if they get a hit, you just track where the pitch was, what kind of pitch it was, and just kind of learn from your mistakes and not throw it again later in the series.
Okay. Pretty good memory?
Yeah, I just go back, look at the sheet, like in between innings, know who's coming up, where you are in the order, and it helped out a lot.
Okay.
Well,
So-
Gabe's got to give himself some credit too. He's also, top 10 in your class. Real smart.
He
guy
gets
over
that
there,
from his
so-
mother's side. You know that. I mean,
Yes.
Come on, right? So, who's a tougher coach? These guys here or your grandpa?
Oh, my grandpa.
Okay.
He's just all about baseball.
Okay. Braden, you're going to be a senior.
Yeah.
Tell us about positions you played this year in your junior year.
Mainly I pitched, but I also played short, center. I played left and right. One game I played 4 positions in a game.
Okay.
So, yeah.
This guy ever catch for you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. You call him right?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty good, yeah.
How often is that pitcher shaking you off?
Not very often.
Not very often? Okay. You converse with the coaches in the middle of innings?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Just not occasionally, like maybe once every 3 innings, but usually everything goes good.
Now let me throw a curveball to you. Have any of you guys been part of, say, a no-hitter?
I have not.
I have.
Okay.
Yes, during travel.
Okay. So travel at what age group?
Last year, so 16U.
Okay, 16U. Pitcher's got a no-hitter going. Is anybody talking to him?
Not a lot of talk.
They're sort of
They're
letting him
letting
sit at
him.
his end?
Yep, they're letting him do his thing.
Just like in the
Yeah.
major leagues, when the guy's pitching good, nobody's saying anything to him.
Yep,
Nobody's talking to him. Let him do his thing.
exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. What do we got? What do we got going this summer? If you 3 guys are playing St. Clair baseball, you're probably playing all summer long, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
Yep.
So tell us who you're playing for.
I'm currently playing for 5 Tool.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm playing for Apex Athletics.
Okay.
Playing for the Blue Water Richmond team, but it's like I'll be at camps and with football camps too. It's all summer long, so it's nonstop.
You guys ever play together in the summer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I played with him.
I've
I
played.
played. I think I played. We've all played together at least once.
Okay.
Yep.
And so we're now talking, it's middle of June. School just got out about a week ago. How many games will you play in the next month and a half, roughly?
I'd say about 30 games.
30 games. Okay.
I would say something around there. Yeah.
Tournaments every weekend.
Tournaments every weekend. For me, it's this week until the end of July, and those are about 4 to 5 games a weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
And where are you going this weekend?
This weekend I'll be all over, like Wixom, Milford, all of that direction.
Is there a favorite place to play during the summer? A specific tournament or location?
So anywhere with turf.
Yeah.
You like turf?
Yeah.
What do you like about turf?
Just it's not really messy. I mean, it's kind of like clean around the feet. I can wear
Yeah.
a football cleat, so I mean, it's always a plus.
Playing infield and outfield, bounces are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little more manageable, a little
Yeah.
more predictable, right?
Yeah, a lot more
For sure.
consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, because you go to some of these fields, especially in April, it's cold, it's wet, you don't know where that ball's going.
The nice thing about next year is talking about the MAC White and how competitive it is. We and Anchor Bay and our league are going to be the only teams without turf, so we're going to spend the majority of our season on turf next year, especially in league play, which, like you said, in April and May, it's a challenge. So that'll be nice.
So if you're playing most of your games on turf, are you talking turf infield and outfield?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I've only seen a few in the metro area that some of them have turf infield,
Yeah.
but not the outfield,
Yep.
which I think is sort of crazy in a sense because, if you're going to play the infield and then the next thing you might go to the outfield
Right.
because you might be a journeyman guy.
Yeah.
Judging bounces is a little crazy that
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Now, they don't use the rubber like at the football stadium, right?
They do.
They do?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they compact it a little bit differently.
Okay.
But yeah, so these guys, like the fields that we play on, they're not allowed to wear their metal spikes. So
Right.
they'll wear football cleats or turf shoes, whatever they're
How about the place over in Brighton?
Legacy?
Yeah.
That's where.
I'm playing there
Is that
this
this
weekend.
Okay. I know that's I've been there. Pretty fantastic facility for basketball and baseball and girls softball. How's that compared to other ones you go to?
I mean, they're about the same.
Okay. Because
With-
that one's pretty new.
Yeah.
So how about, have you gone to Kel Ripken experience? Because I know there's a couple of those in the Midwest. Not yet?
I haven't been there.
Okay. What other places are cool to play?
Cooperstown,
Okay.
Cedar Point.
What's better, Cooperstown or Cedar Point?
I never played in Cooperstown, so I don't know, but I love Cedar Point. That's my favorite tournament I've ever played in.
Okay. Will you be going there this summer?
No.
Okay.
They stop at about 12, 13 U.
Okay. What else going on this summer? Football for this guy.
Football.
Tennis.
Tennis? Okay. And so tennis, tell me about that. We didn't come to talk about tennis, but we'll give him his 5 minutes to do here. Practicing here at the high school?
Yeah.
Okay. With your tennis coach or a private coach?
With my tennis coach, sometimes I'll go with a couple buddies. So this is last year was my first year. Like my freshman year, I played football. And then I had a couple seizures. I was an epileptic. So then I had to switch from football to another sport. And I picked up tennis. And ever since then, I love it. It's not the hardest sport, but it's something fun. I enjoy it.
Oh, competitive.
Competitive too.
Yeah.
And the people that I play with, I like to play with them. It's fun. It's fun to
Singles
be
or
around.
doubles?
I'm a doubles.
Okay.
hmm
I don't even, that's a lot going on
Yeah.
to know where you're going to be, right?
Well, luckily, my partner was one of the baseball players that I played with freshman year, so
Okay.
I already knew him. His name's Cody, and I don't know. Everything came easy to us because we knew exactly where each other was.
So you're going to be busy with both sports this summer. Can you keep it all in your head, or you got to have it on your phone? Schedule.
I trust my mom with it all.
Okay.
Smart.
You got baseball summer long.
That's correct.
And so every weekend's a different tournament.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. You have them in your head. Can you name them off?
Oh no.
Okay.
They're all on my phone.
Okay.
I can't trust myself.
And then are you playing games during the week?
Some tournaments do start on like Thursday through Sunday. So,
Okay.
but it all depends on like how many teams are in it.
Okay.
Yep.
Braden, how about you? You got Coach Ski in your one ear,
Yeah.
Coach Black in the other ear.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
So I just got to keep track on the calendar. We've got every day marked down because we'll have football camp one day and then they have baseball the next. I mean, sometimes we're doing both on the same day. It can be a lot, so I just keep it all on my phone.
And so we've got sports going on. We're talking middle of June. Let's talk about that a little bit, Coach Black.
Sure.
You've got football camps going on now?
Yeah.
Today.
Today.
Okay.
Yeah, today.
Okay. That goes on for a week?
I mean, we've only had 2 days right now. It was a
Okay.
mini camp, and then later, I think it started July and maybe late July. We have another camp that'll be like
And you'll have
4
some
days.
7-on-7s.
Yeah.
Is there anything you do baseball during the summer? Not really.
We will. We'll bring guys in for small workouts, and especially every year we've done this, and actually it's been a big conversation between me and Mike recently is freshman onboarding. So we do something big with freshmen, and we do a lot of positional work.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that's very rare at St. Clair that does not happen at other schools and other programs is that all of us coaches we work very, very closely with each other. Whether it be I was just talking to Jake, our wrestling coach, 10 minutes before I came in here. I was talking to Ski. We talk very frequently. So we are very accommodating. We coordinate with each other, so that we're not conflicting. Because we're a small school, so we share a lot of athletes, which is good.
Yep.
So we just want to make sure that the kids don't feel like they're being pulled in a million different directions. So we try as hard as we can to not, conflict schedules. So I know for a fact that doesn't happen at a lot of schools. A lot of schools like this is the sport, and you better do this.
Right.
At St. Clair, we work very closely. All of the coaches are very supportive of each other, both boys and girls, and it's very refreshing to see, and it's very refreshing to be a part of because that cohesion does not happen at many places.
So even though baseball is going on for these guys, it's not your heavy gear really of baseball because they're doing all the other things in their travel ball.
For sure, yeah, for sure. And then even during our season, like they still have. We'll just use football for example. They still have they still have their team lifts. They still have their meetings, things of that nature. And so again, it's all related. We all work together to make sure it's the best possible outcome for for these guys because that's why we all do it. So,
Coach Mike, you coach anything this summer?
No, just my son.
What's history? Tell us about
just
that.
my son's team. He's 14, so we're kind of in the thick of our schedule because he's not in high school, so he's allowed to play. So our season started with him the beginning of March. We went down to Georgia, and so we've been going at it since March with his squad. So I've been 7 days a week for a while with baseball. As soon as I got back on Monday morning from our Georgia trip, and then we had tryouts Monday night, and then it's been 7 days a week because when I'm not with these guys, I'm with him on the weekends, or as soon as I'm getting out of practice, my wife's dropping him off, and I'm taking him to his other practice for him. But I really wouldn't have it any other way.
So what team is that?
So he plays for the Hit Dogs out of Rochester.
It's crazy going to these tournaments though, is that like my grandson plays for 5-tool, but it's the 10U.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the Hit Dogs 10U, and you'll see they've got like 5 or 6 different teams, right? Most of them?
some have more.
More?
Yeah, we have the Hit Dogs. I think at the Rochester facility alone, I want to say there's 3 or 4 at every age.
Right.
So.
And then the Hit Dogs would be your competition, and you hate them.
That's
but
correct.
then someday you may become a Hit Dog.
That's
You know,
That's the cycle of life.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the
Like,
business.
How many different teams have you played for in travel ball?
I would say 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are they?
So I started off with 2 local St. Clair teams, or 3 local St. Clair teams. Then I went to East Coast Michigan, then PK Prospects, and now 5-tool.
My other grandson plays for PK Prospects.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry.
Who is now the Motor
No.
City Hit Dogs?
Who's the Motor City Hit Dogs?
PKP Waves
Yeah.
he plays
Yeah,
for.
they're Motor City Hit Dogs
Yep.
East Side now, so.
Hard to keep it straight.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Just look for the color uniform.
Well,
And you look for the size of kid you want to be at when you're at the fields.
They ended up merging
Yeah.
with the Hit Dogs, so now they're the Hit Dogs East Side, I think they're being referred to as. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else we got to cover here?
Just these 3 guys and our program as a whole. We're very proud of these guys. We're very proud of all the whole program because we not only do we have really good baseball players, we have really good kids.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of these guys, they go out of their way for community service. They go out of their way for their NHS stuff. They go out of their way for the link programs. in school.
these guys are NHS.
I know, believe it or not, like very good grades, very upstanding citizens. I know, crazy to believe, but not just these guys, all of them.
Yeah.
Across the board, all of our guys, they do a heck of a job. Not just playing baseball, not just in between the lines, but off the field as well, and on their other sports, and in the community. And these are guys. And we see it as adults. There's some kids running around who we're like, oh boy, about 15 years from now things will be interesting. It's these guys that are balancing the scales, and it's those in our program, and it's those at our school, which again is not the norm. In our area, Macomb, St. Clair, Wayne County, like our kids are very, very proud of, because they do everything they can to try to do the right thing. They do everything they can to try to put their best foot forward, and then of course that shows its face on the baseball field as
Very
well.
good.
And I think there's a reason, there's a reason why we have colleges coming to try to get these guys to go play at the next level, and we see it a lot. Baseball has very little to do with it.
Sure.
They're looking, these college scouts
Team
are looking
building
at,
and-
they're looking at families, they're looking at how these guys are, the character off the field, and I think that's one of the points of pride is the power that these guys have in the community, and how bought in these guys are to being more than just baseball players.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of these guys. I'm very proud of the program, and just all of our athletics department as a whole, because again, that's not the norm
Okay.
in today's world.
Sounds good. I got one more thing to ask about fundraising, but
Yeah.
before I do that, guys, when he talks about NHS when he was in high school did not mean what it is to me. I don't think he was on NHS unless his mother pulled the string for him. Okay?
I wasn't close to NHS back in high school.
At least he's honest, okay? At least he's honest. Any fundraising that you're going to do this summer or fall for the baseball program?
Yeah, so when it comes to fundraising, we try to have these guys do as little as possible. These guys really only have two things that they do, but something that is very cool that we're going to introduce this summer is some free youth camps. So it's not I'm the worst fundraiser ever, because we're not raising any funds with it. It's going to be free for members of the community. So we're actually working in cohesion with the softball program as well. Maybe late July into August, we're going to have some opportunities for kids to come out. When it comes to fundraising, we do your typical Raise 365, and then we pound the pavement and try to get the corporate people involved, which again, we're very blessed to be in a community that is supportive of our programs.
The landscape company to kick.
Those landscape guys are tough eggs to crack, but and then we do our youth camp in the spring. But other than that, we're pretty small on the fundraising side of things, because
Okay.
we're able to be out in the community. So
Good deal. Anything else, guys? Want to tell us where you're going to appear next or anything like that? We'll look for you in the ball field. How
Yeah,
about
That's
that?
right.
there you go.
And thank you for coming in, guys, all of you. And then we'll
course.
see you next time on Team Talk.
Of course, thanks so much
And
for
hopefully
having
my
us.
alarm won't go off next time.